All right. I was mid-announcement and just felt like we should record, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I've played Jedi Survivor over this weekend. And I beat it. And I put a significant amount of time into playing this video game from Thursday at 9 p.m. until Monday. I beat it last night. Tuesday. Okay, so 5 days. Put in a lot of hours. Yeah, I got really burned out in this game. That's kind of where our topic's going to lead to in a second.
Yeah.
But I've made a pact that I'm not going to play a lot of video games, any new video games. Like maybe I'll play a round of Advance Wars to relax or something. Okay, but I'm not going to like start up Legend of Zelda until I finish this writing project that I'm doing. And so I've set this goal before myself and like to push out Legend of Zelda a little bit. And I think I can do it, James. The reason I think I can do it, I know I'm monologuing, but the reason I think I can do this, I got really burned out of the open world in Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, but it's not a good open world.
I know, and we're going to talk a lot about this. I know. But I'm also like, the building thing doesn't excite me about Tears of the Kingdom a lot. Like, I'm not into like building a train or a car. Like, that's not my thing.
That's what Trier said, but then he said certain things that were in what he played.
Yeah.
He really craved when he went back and played Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So.
I think I can do it. I think I can do this.
I don't think you can.
Thoughts from the council.
Well, are you buying it digital or physical?
I've already pre-ordered it because I bought that redeemed ticket thing, and I had to, pre-order 2 games. So.
Interesting.
We got a frozen James, but that's okay. We'll just keep talking, and he'll come back to life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this happened last
year. Good luck. I don't believe you're going to do this for a second.
I think I can do it, Ted. I really think I can do this.
Zero faith. See, I'm doing what you're doing, but in reverse. I'm holding off on Jedi Survivor. My reasoning, as we've discussed, is that Jedi Survivor will go on sale, potentially.
Yeah. 100%.
At some point.
You do not need to play this game right now. That's what I'll say. You can wait.
No.
This game, sadly, it probably won't make top 5, I think, this year.
I don't think so, too. I
think there's too many good games coming out.
Bold claim. There hasn't even been 5 good games yet.
There's been
at least 3.
1.
There's been 1.
Okay.
Resident Evil.
Dredge. Great game. Have you been playing Dredge, the fishing game, James?
It's an idle game, to play like here and there.
That's
Sunhaven came out, right? Sunhaven's good. I like Sunhaven.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Stardew 2. Literally a direct.
Oh, you were telling me about this. Yeah.
And Ted was telling about some hockey roguelike that came out.
I'm really curious about it.
I'm not gonna pick it up though. I looked it up, Ted.
Yeah.
It's too hockey for me.
Okay, too hockey.
Looks fun. Too hockey, and it's early access. Really, so I'm gonna wait for it to. They said by the end of the year they're gonna leave early access. So.
Oh, if it's by the end of the year, I might hold off as well. The game is called Tape to Tape for anyone interested.
Good title.
Yeah.
It's a good title.
Yeah, it has a lot. The trailer had a lot of goofy Canadian hockey puns.
Good, as it should be.
Good, as it should be.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the 132nd episode of the Thesideescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles. I didn't want to screw it up, James. I did you laugh.
Perfect.
Here we are. I have my little spiel in the beginning, but I'm gonna tell you another story to our topic. I've been playing Jedi Survivor, as I mentioned earlier. Lots of it. And I was like, dude, I love Star Wars. It's like my main thing, as you can see. I've talked about it a lot. I love Star Wars. So I'm like getting all the collectibles. Like I want to get every outfit to like make my Jedi look the coolest as possible. I want to build my lightsaber like as cool as possible. So I'm doing like all of this side quest. I'm running around the open world. And then it just kind of hit me. Like they took Jedi Fallen Order, which I thought was this very fun, almost like Metroidvania-y, Dark Souls kind of mushed together game. And like they took that and they just like made it a big open world game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like every video game right now is like this big open world where there's chests you got to go find. I was like, it's like God of War Ragnarok, where it's like in these 3 big areas, there's little side areas you go do and you just get your chests and they got new clothes. And I'm like, what is it doing? Because I wasn't vibing with the story. So now I'm like, the story wasn't really pulling me in. I wasn't like going on stuff like, what am I going to do? I'll go get the lightsaber bits. And I just got to this point of like, is everything just open world now? And is this like kind of the new thing of gaming, that this is what we all love to do over and over? I don't know. What do you guys feel about the open game, open world season that we're kind of in forever, it seems like?
Ted, I'm gonna defer to you first. I'll
Oh,
collect my
okay.
thoughts.
I'm sick of it.
Good.
James?
James, yeah, you're up.
No, I hearing that really bums me out.
Because
Because
in our text thread, you like texted, you're like, "Oh, it's open world." When I send something
yeah,
like that, yeah.
yeah. Well, so I really liked Jedi Fallen Order.
Mhm.
I played it off of a recommendation from a podcast I listened to.
It was
This
us.
podcast.
It was us
Yeah.
before you were a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great combination of what cinematic, third person action game, but also had a little bit of Dark Souls,
Yeah.
as you just said, a bunch of smaller elements, but it felt very focused.
Hmm.
They knew what they were getting into. And when you said open world, it's like, well, in my brain, that immediately means they just added a whole bunch of fluff to artificially expand the time that you can,
In the
capital C,
world.
can spend in this game.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I haven't heard of an open world game, with I guess the exception of Elden Ring. I'll take it back.
Yeah.
That the open world served a greater purpose. We talk about Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, two games that kind of like keep the open worldness a mystery.
Hmm.
And then of course there's highlights of the past like Skyrim and Oblivion, where you know that each little bit has been handcrafted. So even if you go to this weird corner of the map, there's probably going to be something weird and fun there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, and I'm sure there's others that I'm missing, outside of that, open world to me now just means they added a whole bunch of fluff to check off a bunch of boxes of stuff, quote unquote, gamers want.
Yeah. Yeah. I was starting to get this weird rhythm of like not being excited turning a corner, and there was just like another group of 3 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And it's like I've never felt that way about Star Wars in my life. And this open world almost monotony that I was going through on a Sunday or Saturday morning when I texted you guys was like, oh, this is like not where like I want games to be if I'm feeling this way about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So like I like that the first game, we'll do like a bigger review when James has beaten it, and I think Hunter from Dago Boy is going to join us as well. And like,
Awesome.
yeah, that'd be cool. And but like I feel like Fallen Order propelled you through the story, and like this open world makes you like not always feel propelled to go to the next objective. So nothing feels like important for the story's rhythm. And so like I feel like that just like really threw me off as well of like, oh, this is like games now. Big thing to go do in the open world. Not be like propelled to go to the next beat. So I don't know. James, have you collected your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts have been collected. I had to look at some stuff into my Steam library just to verify some things.
Okay.
But basically how I feel about open world is there are people who are like completionists with things, and when you have a world that's so empty or boring, that's a fucking pain. And I think we've been so spoiled with how good Breath of the Wild is, and recently how good Elden Ring was, and unexpectedly, because I think no one was going into that being like, holy shit, there's so much variety and so many like crazy things around every corner. This game basically teases you with like really good graphics and really beautiful setting, and you go around each corner and it's like one jump puzzle and the same fucking stormtrooper or the same shield guy or the same like the variety is not there, and it could be there. You could have some really unique stuff. You could have some really fun encounters, and even the bounty hunter stuff is super easy. It's really dumb. There could be a lot of story there. There's no challenge anymore. It really got easy. And I think the first game it was like, okay, you go see this like first monster and you just die immediately, and you're like, whoa,
yeah,
that was a bit Dark Souls-esque. And this game it's like, here's your 1 hour jump puzzle, and then here's your fight. And then here's your 1 hour jump puzzle, and then here's your fight.
I'm so sorry. I tuned out for a second there. Are we talking about Hogwarts Legacy? Because that's all this sounded like.
So now yeah. So Hogwarts Legacy. Recently, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I was like just looking at my playtime. That game is the worst open world I think I've played all year, because it is so empty. It is more empty than this, and the problem is there's so much more space. There's way more space than there is in.
It's actually a
Jedi
beautiful
Survivor.
space. What they've created in Hogwarts Legacy is like amazing.
But it's
so empty.
Empty.
Yeah.
It's empty. And I think back on like, let's say like I'm thinking back like on Witcher 3, and like other in Skyrim and stuff. And it's like, what made these games open world, but also like not bad? And I think it has to deal with like a lot of these random encounters and like quests. So and
What?
and he's also the fighting.
What made them not bad?
The fighting, and I think in Legacy is okay.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
yeah,
It's decent.
yeah.
Jedi Survivor, for some reason, the fighting has gotten really punishing. There's a lot of cool things you could do. There's a lot of cool like different like weapons, but you are so punished if you don't have a lot of force or you
Hmm.
miss this one enemy. You just don't time it right, and now you're gonna get comboed or punished. It's a little annoying. Like I wish you could be more OP, if that makes sense. Like in Elden Ring, you could just have this like wombo combo like
Yeah, oh, I see what
goodbye
you're saying.
enemy.
Yeah,
And now it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes fighting like 10 stormtroopers, just figuring it out.
Yeah.
just to move
There
to
is
the next set. Yeah,
yeah, there is one thing I do want to say is that Jedi Survivor copied Breath of the Wild 1 for their dungeons, and good job because you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
miss
You
with that.
mean, we're talking about the shrines, right?
yeah.
The
There's like
little
these little
Shrines.
they're Jedi shrines that you do puzzles in to. Get
They're
points.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Their exact copy, like put ball here, open platform, get treasure, like
Yeah.
exact formula. Even when you go inside, it looks similar.
yeah.
It's a pretty much like you can't miss with that. So good job, just not like trying anything too hard there. They're not bad. They're actually pretty fun. That's my favorite part so far is doing those. For some reason there's like these the memories that you had in the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
game.
like forced echoes or something. Yeah,
The forced echoes in this game, it's like one or two of them actually have animation. The rest is just you hear a voice. That's a
yeah,
little sad for me.
and often it's like contextualizing the area you are in for like a sentence, and it doesn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's no story to
And it's
it or
like,
anything.
huh?
It's like Yeah.
Who's saying this? Who are you?
yeah, like oh
Yeah.
god, there's something in these tunnels, and you're like, well, yeah, I'm in the tunnels looking for the thing that's in the tunnels.
Yeah, it has a very strong start, I think, and then it's starting to taper off.
Yeah, and I wonder like with the open worldness, like we were talking, you said like what made those games not bad, like what made their open worlds not bland, and I was trying to think of like I think of Red Dead 2, where like that game is the open world
That's
is
a good
super interesting, and
Yeah.
sometimes like what's interesting isn't like this massive boss and a new weapon you find in something. It's just like this interaction that you see, like this horse kicking a guy as he's like trying to change the horseshoe, and it's like, oh wow, this is like just an interesting moment. Or like in Jedi Survivor, I'm running through these, on these walls. You wall run all the time. Wall run up to this, new ledge, and I jump to this ledge and I find this Jedi scroll, and it's like a currency that I can go take to a different vendor. And like what they sell is like the same 10 things from the very
Yes.
beginning of the game.
Yes,
to the
it's
very
the
end of
same
the game.
cosmetic stuff. Yeah.
So I've already bought the thing I think looks cool here. So now I'm just finding something to find something.
Yeah.
And like it's always in like a corner. So there's nothing interesting to look at or anything. So like I feel like for me, like the open world emptiness is like there's just nothing interesting going on. In my
It's also
opinion.
the same boxes that you have to open up. It's just like
yeah,
what I do like is the environment is perfect in the sense that in Resident Evil, not an open world game, but Resident Evil 4, it very clearly like has stuff painted yellow. Like
Mhm.
jump through this window, it's yellow.
it's yellow.
Oh, kick this box, it's yellow. But in this game, it has like, okay, how do I know I need to jump to this rock? Oh, it's a little bit like sanded down,
Mhm.
so that's why I know I can jump to that. Or it has like, oh, there's like this rope just hanging there. So it's not like telling you like, hey,
Go
look,
here.
you gotta jump here. It's like you gotta like look around a little bit. So I do like that aspect where they're
Yeah.
using the environment to signal that you can run across this wall, you can parkour a little bit. That's okay. Like it definitely has the design of the first game where you're gonna go back to the same world over and over. You have this overworld kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
visit other planets. That's fine. But then it's like, okay, I gotta go back here again. I'll get back on my ship. Go over here. Get back on my ship. Go over. It becomes like I think what you were getting at is monotonous.
Yeah, and like a majority of Jedi Survivor takes
draining.
place on that one planet.
Yeah.
Like I would say 50% of 60% of all the missions are on the open world massive planet Kobo. Yeah, so I just like was trying to figure out like what made Elden Ring so enticing to me when I already was kind of feeling burned out in open worlds, and hoping Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom manages to also do that.
You hit it on the head when it's like when you just walk around and you'll just randomly encounter something, like when
Yeah.
you encounter the pot dude and he like tells you about Radon. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'll go over here, and it's like, oh, this is a big thing. Like, hey, you're here. Like I love that, like the little discovery, or you just walk wherever you want, and it's something. It's so good.
It's to me, it's open worlds funnel down. There are two core like tenets of a good open world, and they don't have to share each other. They just have to pick one or do both. One of them is that like what we're talking about with Elden Ring, this like handcrafted
Mhm.
approach to it, where like at no point in Elden Ring did I not think going over there is not worth my time. Like there's gonna
Yeah.
be something,
Yes.
and it's gonna be weird and wacky and interesting, and it's and it's kind of the same thing we were all feeling with Skyrim
Mhm.
many
Yep.
many years ago. What,
Oh
12
yeah.
years ago? Of like they really sold us this idea of like everything we did made in this world is like quote unquote handcrafted. Even if it ended up being like a troll cave, you're still just like, whoa, it's a
Yeah, like what's
cave.
in here and yeah.
Exactly. And so that I think is one element, this handcraftedness. And the other element to like an open world game is this idea of a sandbox where like this is my playground to
Mhm.
play in. I'm thinking a lot of like the Just Cause series where like that's an open world where
Yes.
just
Yeah.
and Grand Theft
Or
Auto, just where people live their lives,
Goat
cars drive
Simulator.
around,
Mhm.
and then your character comes and just massacres everything, whether it be, blows up all the cars or, grappling hooks two cars together and sends them flying into the
Right.
air. You're playing with toys on a playground. Um, and so many open world games are not doing either of those things. They are just putting filler content, and there's no real interesting way to interact with it other than the set structure of the game.
Mhm.
Kind of like what James was talking about, of like, oh, a slight sandstone is how I jump over here.
Yeah.
I wanted this game to be like I'm a storm. Like I just come through, I'm a Jedi, and you can't do anything about it.
Hmm.
Like I'm powerful.
I like
But
yeah.
it feels like I'm just really struggling against one dude with a little spear, and I'm like going all out with my gun and okay, I'll discuss that. But with my two
Yeah, you
lightsabers,
have a
let's
gun. You
say.
have a gun too. Yeah, they've shown
Yeah,
that.
there's a gun lightsaber. I love it. It's my
It's
favorite.
really fun.
But I have two lightsabers in my hand, and I'm dealing like no damage to this guy. And it's like I have to like spend like 5 minutes just trying to like beat him down, and it's just
Yeah.
a regular stormtrooper with a spear or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You tell me
pain.
Star Wars open world game, and I told you my initial thing was like blah. But like if you think about it, that could be a really fun playground where you're just using the force all the time to just
Love
cause
that.
absolute
I
Mhm.
love
mayhem.
that.
Yeah. Like almost like
But that
Force
is
Unleashed to like just cause it with massive
Force
yeah,
amounts
where
Unleashed.
you just like you see, just like a transport vehicle driving along and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be
just like throw it off a
badass.
cliff. Why not? But that's not the point of this game, right? They're Jedi, what? Jedi X, whatever the game's called, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi
Yeah.
Survivor.
Yeah.
These are very structured, very combo based. You're supposed to be tight with controls, more like a Dark Souls.
And
So it's
I
not
think
that
that
playground
doesn't
aspect.
work. It's so funny because it did for Elden Ring, but like that doesn't fully work in this game of like the open world nature of that. Where like I don't feel like
No.
Spider-Man, like it was so fun to be
Yeah,
Spider-Man in an
that'd be
open
so
world
cool.
and just swing around. Where it's like
Yep.
it's kind of fun to be Cal Kestis and
Run
out,
around,
run around and double jump and then wall run and then like all right,
double
cool.
jump. Yeah,
But
and
like
Yeah.
then
hang
you
on
just
a little bat thingy.
yeah, you just do it over and over again to a point where
Yeah.
it's like I'm bummed that they traded out this like kind of focus, like almost like Resident Evil kind of map experience for just kind of like a bigger open world.
Jake,
Yeah.
I have a question, and it might be a spoiler. So
Sure, I will
technical
say
spoiler here.
no if there's
You could
spoilers.
just say no comment or something. But
Okay.
in the first game, this is a spoiler. There's a great Darth Vader moment.
Right.
Like it's amazing. Like that whole sequence is like one of my favorite parts of the game. Is there anything like that in this game?
You've already played it. It's in like the beginning to middle of the game.
That beginning, the middle is that's it.
That's the
That's
best
all
part
you
of the
get?
game. That's the best part of the game. And like it
Okay,
does like
yeah, that was a great part.
it was
But
really awesome. I know that part was sweet.
I thought we were gonna have to get something again, like
Yeah, there's,
something
like-
again, like because he did that.
no,
Yeah,
like
that part's great.
I was
That part is
expecting
integral.
another part like that.
Yeah, me too.
And that was the only real
So I
big
guess
one
not.
we got.
Yeah.
That's a pain.
Yeah, sorry, Ted has like no idea what you're talking about. I was like, oh, there's a big part.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
But I didn't want to spoil
The-
it. But yeah, there is
the
like this
first middle part is
amazing
good.
moment. Like one of the coolest
Yes.
things I've done in a video game, and I was like, because of Star Wars and my love for it, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like, yeah, it just never picked up again story wise.
So just everything in the beginning is just really good.
yeah, like the beginning I think is much better than the end. Like the
Yeah.
middle.
Dang.
Like there's a few
Yeah.
interesting things that happen. I recommend you play it. And it's a fun game, but like
Yeah.
going
I'm
back,
I'm still
like
going on.
I would say like if I recommended Ted play it, like really focus on the story missions though.
Yeah.
Like find
Okay.
some outfit
And-
stuff that you
and
like and like that's fine.
Not the first time we've heard that of late. Like,
Right.
what was it? Horizon Forbidden,
Forbidden
West.
West. Yeah,
I know
I got
you were
burned
talking
out in
about
that game too.
at some point you were talking about like I'm just doing story mission after story mission.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's because we've kind of lost what open world should be, and it has now been replaced by like, well, it's just going to be,
Filler.
we needed it to be
Base.
bigger
Yep.
and better and bigger.
Right.
And what covers that ground? Open world, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think they suffered so much because the scope got so much bigger, and they did it within a really, really short amount of time.
Yeah.
But they could have kept it condensed just like the first game, and it would have been incredible, and probably with less issues.
Yeah, I think with less issues too. Yeah, the open
Yeah.
worldness of it, and yeah, like I think the world itself like needs to be fun, or the traversal. Like there has to be like a reason that like it's interesting to go around.
I wish I could fly in this game, but nope, you can't.
Well, it's like I'm gonna spoil a part for Horizon Forbidden West because none of you guys are ever gonna play this, and I didn't even
Yeah.
get to this part. Apparently, in like late game, you unlock one of the bird creatures to fly on, and you can fly throughout the map. But
Mhm.
like that's not till like literally the last like 2 missions of the game. Is like
Oh,
when
wow.
the game gets like really fun to go around the map.
Yeah.
Okay, that you brought up a great point, and I just want to touch on it. I hate how some things are just like in this game, and with a lot of open
In
world
Jedi
games too.
Survivor.
In Jedi Survivor,
Yeah.
where like things are locked until way later in the game,
Mhm.
and then you're like, oh, now that I have this ability, now I can go back and like find that one chest that I saw in
Yeah.
the very beginning of the map that I don't know where it is anymore because I don't really care because I couldn't get it then because I didn't have the triple jump dash combo.
It sounds like a Metroidvania gone wrong.
It's like
where
too
instead of
big.
being this really tight, like, oh, I remember that high jump area, and
Yeah.
it's a very tuned experience. It's like,
Yeah,
no, we're just gonna gate some of this off till the end game, even though it's right here. Uh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Good
so
luck
so you
going
come
back for that.
Yeah, so come back to the big you know separatist warship that you were in, and it's really far. It's like I'm good. Again, and
Yeah,
that's like
that's
me
a
being this like
hey.
big Star Wars guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I won't spoil anything. Go watch the Dago Boys. But it's funny that
Next
there are now the two biggest Star Wars products to have hit in this spring of 2023. Both just sound a lot like filler content,
Yeah,
where they just had to make a thing and they had to make it bigger and better. But ultimately, it didn't serve any kind of like tight or focused purpose.
yeah. You're like I'm not intrigued by the next step of this story or anything,
Yeah.
which like is kind
Yeah.
of a bummer. So like I'm excited. Like I'll play the third game because this was fun. and-
I was like,
know.
I feel like I'll play the third game
Yeah.
because like there has to be something. The story with the characters, the main character cast, great. I love the main.
It's a good video game. I'm not like
Yeah.
that's I think like my thing is like I really had a good time with it. Like I'd give it a good recommendation. But like there is just
Just burned
something to it. Yeah, there's just something to
But
it.
you're not burned out of Star Wars. You're just burned out of open world.
Yeah, like
Okay.
if that's
So
all.
you'll have a nice May the 4th tomorrow.
yeah.
I share your concern, Jake. Playing Hogwarts Legacy this year, like really set in stone that I am burned out on open world.
Yeah.
Where like as soon as the main story kind of got a little bland, and the game very clearly was like, okay, like go out and explore.
That's when I jumped off.
I just put the control. Like I told you guys, I was gonna beat it, and I went back a few times, and eventually I was just like, you know what, like I don't really feel like the efforts is there. You know, this didn't need to be like this.
Yeah, like I'm
I
not gonna
beat
go
it, and
pop
it was
balloons.
not worth it.
Right.
Yeah, like-
right, yeah.
like-
You get told at the end, you're like, hey, you actually need to collect all of these things and do all of these things, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Teach.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah,
I'm leaving. I'm
Hogwarts
leaving
dropout.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, we could talk about what it could have been or make it more of a discussion about that. But just overall, that really cemented for me this like this is not an open world created for a specific purpose. This is an open world to check boxes.
Like,
And we talked about that on the
yes.
Hogwarts
Yeah.
Legacy podcast, where we were just like, this is you have a stealth attack.
You want a spreadsheet open world?
the
Yeah,
the use of balloons to pop while on your broom is like in this day and age is kind of like offensively bad.
They
like,
could have
that's-
done rigs.
That, but that's something that was like probably in the 2002 Chamber of Secrets video game.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
that came with the movie that we all played on GameCube. Like that's probably was in the exact same thing. You pop balloons. Like
yeah,
come on.
yeah, and it's like, you know, that was not mechanically speaking, that open world just didn't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
Any didn't fulfill anything in my brain that was like, I'm doing it right.
Mhm.
Maybe it did for some people, but
the game forces you to go like across the whole map, and there's just nothing in between of where you need to go and where you're going, and it's just okay. You force me to go to the very edge of the map, and there's nothing here. There's just one thing I have to do.
Right.
Cool.
and
What a lot of
similarly
wasted space.
to what Jake's comment about Star Wars of like, there are stores in that game that sell the exact same items.
The
Yeah.
entire
So
game.
it's like,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
you go to the
Go to
store
random
over
traveling
here.
merchant. Yep.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you just have the exact same stuff that everybody
Yeah.
else has.
Yeah, they
This is
don't
not
have new items throughout the game. That blew my
Yeah.
mind. I was like,
Or-
surely
or
they're
that
gonna
it's
get more
not-
stuff.
location specific of like, oh, I found this person in a mountain. This mountain vendor is gonna have something special because I found him.
Yeah,
No.
there's only 2 vendors in the game. Or
Yeah.
3 vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gotten bad, Jake.
it
I'm with
has. I don't want video
Yeah.
games to just be this. I think that's
Yeah.
like what they're becoming a little bit.
I think we don't have to get too deep into it, but I think television, movies, and video games all need to like condense themselves. I think we've gotten into a very fluffy time period
Yeah,
where they're just itching to control all of our hours, and so they're making. I mean, what Assassin's Creed was like estimated 147 hours
yeah,
to beat,
yeah.
and you're like,
Valhalla.
I don't need that. You
Oh.
know, I would happily play a 20-hour Viking game.
Give me
Yeah.
an
That sounds
8-hour game.
badass.
Like
I don't need 140 hours of it.
Resident
Like-
Evil 4 recently was like the perfect amount.
Yeah,
Like it
Yeah.
At no point was I like, all right, I'm slogging
I
through.
beat that game right at the exact same time I was done with that game. If that makes sense. Like I think I clocked in at like 20 hours and 40 minutes and I
Oh,
was like,
shit.
that's
it.
perfect.
That,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Yep.
That's
That's all I
perfect.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wandered around, I explored the corners, I played the game.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's all
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
yeah. That's how I felt. Like I just don't always want to be like running around grabbing chests, and like I hope that
Yeah.
we get away from that. That has to be in a game.
Yeah.
Like I know there will always be those games, but I'm hoping that like they took a franchise that I was really into and kind of made it that. And that was
Yeah.
kind of a bummer to me. You know, there
I
are
th- I
mounts
think-
that aren't useful. Like there's just stuff like that that is not exciting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to breach the space of like of kind of this area of like, would you pay $70 for 15 hours of gameplay? You know, like would you
Yeah.
pay a premium video game price for a short amount of time? And until we can kind of break into that mold of like, yes, it's okay to do that. We're going to see these games that are like, well, of course it's $80 or $70 through $90. You know,
Mhm.
it's 150 hours. You could play this for the rest of your life if you wanted to. And so it's going to take consumers to be okay with a shorter game, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is going to take consumers being like normal to paying more money despite that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think
Yeah,
that's such a
exactly.
big thing is like we get so pissed that if games went up $10 in the last 25 years or whatever it has been, you know, like now it's $70 for a premium game where it was 60, but like they haven't gone up that much. And trust me, our money's not worth that anymore. So it's
Yeah.
like
17 years?
17, is that where we're at?
16?
That is-
Whenever the Xbox 360 came out, they went from 50 to 60.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, 2000.
And that was an uproar.
Yeah, right. And so like that was just $10. And so
Yeah.
like for these products to be sustainable, they have to consume your time and get you to buy the DLC and expansion packs. And
Right.
so I don't know. Like Spider-Man's gonna be another open world game this year that's coming out that I am very excited for because I just like going around that world as Spider-Man. That's the enjoyable part for me. So I wonder, kind of like, I don't know. I'm worried with
Well,
Zelda.
And we can keep it loose. No spoilers. Is in Fallout 4, a big part of being in that open world was there was this thing to do in the like survival settlement system where a big part
Oh yeah,
of
building.
wandering
like-
around collecting loot was to go support this in-game
Yeah.
engine that was happening. And it sounds like Tears of the Kingdom might have something to that effect too.
No.
Was there anything? I'm just purely
I hope
speculating.
not.
Of like something to do in an open world outside of just wander from A to B. Was there anything like that in Star Wars? Is there any
Yes.
like I know there was like a plant, like a garden.
Yeah, there's like a
the
garden,
garden thing.
there's a
The
garden.
garden thing is
They have like their version of like Gwent, kind of like their little like in-game tactics game where it's called
Don't you have
Hollow
it IRL?
Tactics.
What was the one you have IRL?
Oh, the card game?
Yeah.
No, I have Sabacc, the galaxy's oldest
Sabacc.
card game, James, please.
Sabacc.
That's how
I know
Han
Sabacc.
Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian. A game of Sabacc. Okay.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's how I won.
Is it a good game?
Sabacc? No, it's really hard to play. It's not very congruent. It's like a weird poker game.
What was the in-game Star Wars game in Knights of the Old Republic?
That was Sabacc.
Was that Sabacc? Okay.
Yeah, it was
like,
Sabacc.
It was like a betting game almost.
Yeah, that's kind of what Sabacc is.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
I'm
playing
into
Sabacc.
I'm
Yeah.
down for that.
What's the game? in
Come on
this
down to
game?
San
I haven't
Diego.
gotten
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't played Hollow Tactics yet?
No, how do you play that?
It's in the cantina. It's on like the second floor. You have to find these
Oh,
people.
okay.
You have to find them in the open world. So Ted, you have like a saloon, like a cantina in Jedi
Oh,
Survivor.
I like the saloon.
Very cool. It's very funny that the game has like weird loading problems and to enter the doors. I don't know if this works for James, but on PS5 to enter the doors of the cantina, you have to like wait like a minute as like the game loads the cantina. And,
Right.
like a door
I haven't had
flashes
that.
yellow. Oh, okay.
Oh, but it does stop you before you get in the door because it has a little like robot thing.
Yeah, but I have that leaving the cantina as well, so it's clearly just the loading of the cantina.
Interesting.
Weird.
I know I've had loading problems, but not like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. But yes, there's a cantina, Ted, and then you have to like find people in the open world and be like basically like, yo,
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. I'm so sorry.
please.
The in-game gaming KOTOR was Pazak.
Pazak, damn it, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
Azak.
Pazak. Maybe that was like
The
Sabak,
Sabak.
but like from the old Republic
the
Sabak.
not canon version of Sabak.
Yeah.
Zach.
Pazak.
Anyway, you're leaving the saloon.
That's like what some grandpa in Star Wars says. You playing that Pazak again? It's
Azak.
Sabak, grandpa. I'm playing it on Canto Bite. Anyways, so yeah,
You're leaving the saloon.
there's a saloon, and you recruit people, and you're like, you find the gardener on this desert planet, and he's like, nothing grows here, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
well, come back with me to my planet because stuff grows, and he's like, great, and that's how you have a garden.
That was hilarious. I was like, what? Why is there a gardener out here?
Yeah, I was like, you're not.
I don't
supposed to be
know.
here.
That was really weird.
You're weirdly near where the Empire is attacking. I
Yeah.
shouldn't trust
Rob-
you.
Hey, you're on your way to evacuate people, and they're just like, oh, no, I'm just a gardener.
Nothing grows on this cliff.
Hey,
It was very strange that he was there.
yeah.
But yeah, so like you find people, and then there is stuff to do in this little hub world, like in the open world. And there's a holotactics game on the second floor that you eventually find these people that are into this game. And every enemy you scan becomes like a new token that you can use in this game. And you got points, and you put your points into what tokens you want. And then they do that, and then it like auto chess fights them. Just like they run at each other and hit.
Oh, I don't want that.
So there's no strategy kind of.
It's auto chess.
It's just auto chess. There's nothing you do once you pick your units. It's just random.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
not very
So
fun.
they made an auto chess game without any of the overarching
Tactics
strategy that
of
makes
auto
auto
chess.
chess.
Yeah, you just like
Yes.
find the units counterbalance the other units.
Yeah, I guess a big part of auto chess is the whole battle royale card drawing system around it.
Yeah, it's
If you just
getting
auto
the random
battle, it's
units
kind of a
and
stupid game.
and positioning.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that's
No.
it. So
No.
unfortunately,
Again,
it has stuff
more.
like that.
It sounds like more useless fluff.
Right. Yeah.
But I was thinking more of like, do you have a garden that you need to keep replenishing because that's how you get health
The
potions?
garden is nothing.
Right.
Right,
it doesn't
or are
matter.
you gathering supplies to save
No.
to slowly build up the town? You know,
There could be meaningful stuff, especially for this town and for the systems that they have employed, but it is strictly cosmetic for most things.
Yeah. well, because
One thing perks is as one thing that's not, but
Yeah.
other than
yeah,
that,
that to me would be the next step for open world. Is like, okay, we've made this giant open world full of fluff. How do we get you engaged in it? We make you interact with it in more of a survival game sense.
Yeah.
Microsoft's Last Hope, Starfield, looks like it's going to have a lot of that kind of. You're going to planets to mine to build your your home base.
if I
you know?
go to empty planets, I will not be having fun.
James, you're
Yeah,
going to empty planets in that game.
God
You're going to
damn
empty
it.
planets, buddy.
I don't want to have
Procedurally
like No Man's
generated
Sky
empty
isn't
planets.
bad, but I just get so bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I would
exactly.
be worried about Starfield.
And I really bounced off of Fallout 4's. I tried to engage with that system and completely bounced off of it. Of just like, I don't want to be picking up crap while I'm questing.
I love picking up crap.
Yeah. See, like, fuck.
I love
course you do.
collecting.
James
I
loves it.
love picking up scrap
love-
from junk.
I don't
piles.
like
I
don't like
just- it's not-
opening a box and there being like one cosmetic paint. I like opening it up and there being like a wrench, some duct tape. You know, like, that's what I want to see.
At some point,
I
I just
hate
was
that.
I understand. I appreciate the concept, but I just at some point that's not why I'm
Listen.
playing this video
Hold on,
game.
Ted,
There's a
listen.
chance for a legendary bat in one of those toolboxes that you open up. So that is the thrill of Fallout 4, opening up every single thing you can see that you could possibly open. Is there gonna be a legendary weapon in there? There's no legendary lightsaber in Jedi Survivor. That's what I want.
I see.
You want gear. You want loot.
I would like some.
James is about
Elden
to
Ring.
James just
Elden
Wants
Ring
the
has some loot.
promise of loot. He doesn't actually get the loot.
No.
Listen, I
James,
want
did
to
you ever
beat.
find that baseball bat?
I think I had a baseball bat in Fallout 4. Or no, I had like the gloves
You
where it's
would
like you hit
strongly
someone.
remember if you found that
I had power
toolbox
gloves.
baseball bat.
Yeah, I've had some. I definitely had some like legendary sniper or something.
Of course.
It's been many years.
But
still.
no, yeah, that to me, like you talk about, like I don't want games to be like this, and I was feeling that way around Fallout 4's era of like I don't
Yeah.
want every open world to now be populated with this like pseudo mandatory survival aspect of like you need to build the town to
Mm,
progress the game, go chop down or like go get
Well,
wood.
that's what 76 is like, where you have to build up your camp.
yeah,
Yeah,
see, I don't want that.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in certain contexts, I do want that, but like that's what survival games are for, right? That's what the forest is for, or Valheim.
Yeah,
7
There are
days.
games that do that very well. I don't need that shoved into my Star Wars game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, like every game now has like RPG mechanics. Like every
Yeah.
game you play, you are modifying your character somehow, and that wasn't always the case. I feel like we're now in the era of like everything's open world. Everything's big.
Yeah.
And like
Everything's
everything
big. I like that.
doesn't have to be big. Like I would be really bummed if The Last of Us Part 3 is like an open world game.
Yeah.
Where like you're going
Well,
around the wilderness.
but there is a
and,
Last
like-
of Us open world game, right?
Right, and that's like a battle royale kind of. I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. If it is just like an open
actions?
world game, like if it's like I don't know, they really have not talked about it, so who knows? But
No.
but yeah, like I'm not excited if it's just like always walking around these big spaces, getting distracted from like what your missions you're going to do or something. Like
Yeah.
there are games for that. There are The Witcher 3 and there are these open world RPGs, but like not every game needs to.
I
I'm
agree.
worried we could be going down that path.
Yeah. I also think
Well,
like The
yeah, go
Witcher, and James can correct me, but The Witcher did a really good job of either having those explorable areas be interesting or subtly guiding you where you needed to go via quests, via roads, via like, stuff like that. Like I was always coming across interesting things in The Witcher 3, but that wasn't because I was looking for them, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No,
Like, I would just
no, that's the
I
same
would just
here.
be riding my horse from A to B, and I would find a place and be like, "Oh, cool." Or I'd be riding my horse to A to B and be like, "Oh, I have a side quest for this." Um, they that game did a very good job of guiding you through their open world,
Yeah.
which
The
I think is
game-
another important aspect of this.
It does a good job of distracting you from your main goal. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this appears. Oh, wait, this
Yeah.
is here. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll walk
Too
over
many
here.
damn question marks.
But Jedi Survivor, it's like I'm gonna go to my objective, and I'm gonna go back to my ship, and I'm gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna go do my side quest, and I'm gonna go over here and go. And
Yeah.
also, we haven't even talked about the map system and the objective system. It's such a fucking
yeah,
pain.
we
in the
will talk
ass.
about that in our review.
Yeah.
But you know what, James, you made a good point, like how you were kind of talking about that. It almost feels like this game is like we are Jedi Survivor and we got the game, but we also have the open world, and like it doesn't feel like it like should be open. I don't know. I just have a real
Probably
relationship
shouldn't
with
be.
this open world.
I don't think it should be.
Like
And
it doesn't
they just
focus
made
it
it
at
for-
all. Yeah,
No.
I don't know.
Yeah. It could have been something great, I think. But
I'll start to close this out, Jake, by asking
Yeah.
one last question. Jedi Fallen Order had a lot of. They were, I guess they would be dungeons, but like the nature of the levels kind of guided you into these dungeon-esque scenarios
Mhm.
on a couple of the planets you go to. Is there that in this game?
There is.
Okay.
There is.
Is it fun?
Yes, the game is fun. Like that's the
Yeah.
tough part here. Like the game is fun, and I had a great time playing it. But like, it's just like, yeah, like it does have these moments, and it's got these like more focused levels, and like there are planets that you go to that aren't open world. Like they are like they're linear, and like you can go back to them if you want. And there are sections of the open world that are pretty linear. You know, there's Ted, do you remember in the first game there was like a big Clone Wars era like Star
Yeah.
Cruiser?
Yeah, that was
Clash?
fantastic.
Yeah. So they took
Yeah.
that concept and they put it into like a main level is like a separatist like big ship, like the big ones that are rising up on Geonosis.
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
The Vallejo oil refineries, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Vallejo, yep.
you get to go into the Vallejo oil refineries and like there's a whole mission that's like based around that kind of concept, and it's really cool, and it's this focused area, and that's where the game really
That's where I'm at.
excels. Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
Really good.
Yeah.
And the game really excels in those moments. And like I just feel like it also has this open world, and that's like taking away from what the game is doing best.
Right.
And so much of the fluff is the open worldness of this game. Where it's like
Interesting.
there is a really fun game in there, but like I was often like, I really want to see what my character can look like. And I was like, that the game? Like, is the game dressing up my doll of Cal Kestis?
Yeah.
It's cool. That's really cool. But like, I don't want. I guess like that took me away from what it was. Like,
Customization is really cool because it's really intricate and intense.
Yeah. Oh, it's super detailed.
Every
it's great.
aspect. Yeah, every aspect is. Yeah.
I would just wish getting the cosmetics was like a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Or that you constantly find, and James can relate, these like force essences they're called, and they're either health or force that like boost your health bar or force bar marginally.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
That's like a lot of what you find. It's like
Yeah.
you are constantly going to a nook and cranny of like, oh, I literally got to the point where I was like, another one of these in this corner.
Yeah.
This sucks. And I was like,
Yeah.
just give me the skill point for like, doing. It just
Yeah.
that stuff really started to take me off. Like,
Yeah.
you're making me going around this open world, and I don't like what I'm finding.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And now it's
And that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny because I don't care about cosmetics in this game. Like, just give him a poncho. I'm good.
That's
I-
almost
but
the
I like-
entire game. Ted.
I know I liked
It's
it in the
cosmetics.
Yeah.
I liked it in the first game. It was fun, but to me, it was never essential. And to hear there's so much emphasis put on like your cosmetics, I'm like, I don't care. I'm there for interesting set pieces and cool Star Wars stories.
Mhm.
Which is what made the first game so much fun to me.
And like with the first game, like the cosmetic stuff was primarily your lightsaber. Like, yeah, you found like ponchos that you could wear as well, but like, you couldn't change most of Cal's clothes.
Yeah.
And there's hairstyle or his mustache. You can give him a big handlebar mustache in this game.
I know. Cal Cletus.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Cal Cletus's. His wife beater shirt. Yeah, he's in a wife beater with a big mustache. It's great. And a mullet.
Have you seen the art that they've done? Like they have like a MAGA hat, but it's like make Jedi great again.
Make Jedi great again. Maja. But like shit, where I was going with this. Oh, Ted, just FYI, there's an achievement where if you have the mullet on and you kick somebody, it gives you a Roadhouse achievement.
That's
How
great.
fucking amazing is that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But yes, like you just like that's pretty much what you're doing in this game. But in Fallen Order, you're finding lightsaber bits. And like your lightsaber components, that's like part of the story is Cal building his lightsaber and becoming his own Jedi. And like that, the customization was super emphasized. And like here, it's like you can change your jacket color. That's pretty cool. And like it is, because I want to look like a Star Wars guy. But like, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. The open worldness of it.
What sucks is I feel like, Jake, are you ever gonna come back to this game?
Probably not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat it and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's a pain for $70. Because I feel like Zelda or Witcher or like I always want to go back in Breath of the Wild and just like I'll just pop in a little bit, like fly around, like let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in this corner and see what Korok seed I find. Because at least getting the Korok seed was interesting. It's some weird puzzle I gotta figure out. I don't know. There's just I think what you have to have an open world is like it has to be really what you're doing is interesting or what you're getting is interesting.
Exactly.
And I think Elden Ring was the perfect balance of it, and it's why we were all so caught off guard.
I was gonna say Breath of the Wild really was the perfect.
Breath of the Wild,
true.
Well, Breath of the Wild first.
Yeah.
You walk in, you're just like, who's this guy? And it's the Korok.
Yeah, it's a combination of I'm gonna go over there and find out what's going on.
Well, and the promise of like you can go anywhere and you can climb anything that you can climb at this
like,
little bar.
Immediately right away, it's like, hey, you see all that? That's your goals.
Yeah.
You see that? That's your end game. Go out there.
And the open world of this is like we've handcrafted where to get this chest.
Yeah.
You're just running along the path we made to get the chest.
Yeah.
So, Any final thoughts on open?
If you do come out with one, make it good. But definitely you're probably gonna see too many bad ones.
I think we're about to play a pretty bad open world in about 5 minutes too.
This is an open world we're playing?
Pretty sure Redfall is like open world multiplayer Far Cry.
Oh jeez.
It's not getting good thoughts, kids.
Yeah, okay, I'll make one final thought really long. Because Gears of War 5 was an open world game that you two played. Did you guys like that?
It kind of was, but like
I wouldn't say it's totally open world.
They were like small open spaces that had like one or two side quests.
Okay.
There was like 2 or 3 of them, James?
Yeah. No, that's Gears of War 5 was incredible. And also the DLC that we played also incredible.
But that wasn't an open world game in the traditional sense we're thinking.
No,
of.
It was like this
no.
Like there's a section of Last of Us Part 2, Ted, for when eventually one day you'll play it. Mm-hmm. And you get to a location, to a city, Seattle. That's not a part of the game takes place in Seattle. You get to Seattle And like there's like this open area where like there's like 5 buildings that you can go in kind of any order and collect stuff, and like that's kind of what Gears of War also did.
That's what
It's
Gears
like
did. Yep.
Smaller
like
open
an
worldish
area.
area, but it was like a smaller area that had like 5 things you could do.
Worldlets.
Yeah, and like you don't have to go down this area, but that's what
Yeah,
shotgun is.
like a side quest area or something like that. Like that's basically like a story area.
Yeah, and so
it's nothing like go where you want now. No.
Yeah.
It's a pretty linear story.
Yeah. So
but really good. Really good, really enjoyable.
That was kind of my final thought because that was another open world game that I know you two really liked.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great game.
We didn't like 4 too much.
No, 4 wasn't particular. 4 was fine.
4 was filler. Like it was like you needed 4 to play 5. But
5 was really good.
5 was woo.
I know, I'm excited for
Loved it.
I'm excited for 6.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the 132nd episode of the Side Escape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. That's Ted. And we will see you next week. We promise.
Or else.
Or else. Ted's fired.